Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Fan Appreciation Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a comedy from 1995. That movie is Canadian Bacon. Now, I still don't know a whole lot about this movie, all things said. I know it has something to do with the U.S., for whatever reason, going to war with Canada. That is all I knew up until about 5, maybe 10 minutes ago, when I decided to read the credits on the back and found out that this thing was written and directed by Michael Moore. Which means, guys, we have here a work of fiction that Michael Moore is actually willing to claim as fiction, and he's not trying to masquerade it off as a fucking documentary. I am surprised. I don't know if that means it's going to be any good, because Lord knows that Michael Moore's fucking documentaries are boring as shit. So, and also they're full of fucking lies. That's why I claim that they're fiction. But still, I don't know if this thing is going to be any good. It could be, but the only way I'm going to find out if it is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Canadian Bacon. Well, guys, this really is not a, shocker. Michael Moore doesn't know how to write satire and make it funny. This shit has been so overly forced, it has lost all semblance of funny. And if I have to deal with this shit for another 90 minutes, I have a feeling that this is going to be a long 90 minutes. This is going to suck. Okay, so apparently it is a cardinal sin to diss Canadian beer when you are on Canadian soil. I really don't understand why, but then again, guys, to me, beer honestly just sucks in general, and I strongly doubt that the swill that is brewed in Canada is any better than the bullshit that is brewed here in the U.S., alright? Beer in general fucking sucks. Deal with it. So the best thing the U.S. government could find for a special ops group to commit a false flag operation in the U.S. to make Americans fear Canadians is a crack team so absolutely shit that they get shut down by a sheriff and his batch of rowdy, drunken fucking deputies. That's fucking sad, guys. Well, I had a feeling they were going to crack that fucking joke. Yes, guys, they just did the tried and true joke of Canadians all have to say two things: a boot instead of about, and a at the end of every one of their sentences. Took them almost an hour to fucking do it. I kind of sort of wish that they would have passed on it, but hey, at least it took them an hour to fucking, shovel out that pile of shit. I'm still waiting, though, for something in this movie to be fucking funny. Okay, guys. They finally got a funny joke in. Apparently, in Canada, all written language, including what is clearly graffiti, has to be in both English and French. That is fucking funny, okay? Sadly, that is probably going to be the only funny bit in this entire goddamn movie. But, at least it's funny. Well, guys, good news is the movie's almost over. Bad news, I can count on one finger the number of fucking good jokes this comedy has had to offer. I'm just happy, guys, that this fucker's almost done, because it's also, not only is it unfunny, it's boring as fuck, too. Well, guys, that was Canadian Bacon. Thank fuck that piece of shit is done. No, shut up. Okay. Sorry, guys. I guess when I popped in a comedy about the U.S. going to war with Canada, I was expecting something funny. And then I found out that Michael fucking Moore made it, and well, yeah, I kind of felt that. I sort of felt those hopes slipping, and still had him there for a moment. And then the movie started. Then, oh god, let's just talk about the movie. I'm not gonna sit here and whinge about this for too long. Well, I'm not going to whinge about having to watch it. I am going to probably bitch about having to... I mean, I'm probably going to bitch about the movie itself, though, for my usual, what, like 10 to 12 minutes. Anyway, who cares? Let's talk about the writing. Again, comedy. Supposed to make you laugh. One good joke. 90 minutes of film. One good joke. One honest-to-God funny moment. That's sad. Especially when we look at the cast. We look at the fact that we had people like John Candy and Rhea Perlman and Alan Alda and Kevin fucking Pollak. These are people who, if you tasked them with reading a fucking with reading a fucking obituary, they could probably make it kind of funny. They couldn't make a single thing in this shit piece, you know, memorable or funny. It's terrible. All right. And mind you, all of them, including the mountain of cameos from people like Stephen Wright and Jim Belushi. All of them are trying their damnedest to make this horrible writing work, but it doesn't. The only person who makes it even somewhat work is Dan Aykroyd, and I am almost convinced that that was purely by fucking luck. Because, okay, Dan Aykroyd is talented, but there's no way in hell that he could have made the shit that was given to Candy or Alda or Pollak or Perlman work. No, instead he's given the joke that everything in fucking Toronto has to be in both English and French. And it's just funny because it just sort of throws you off slightly. That's it. That, honest to God, is the one funny moment. And even honestly now, guys, that I am kind of thinking about it, I really think that the only reason why it was funny is because you go so long watching a comedy fail to be funny. Something that is even just the slightest bit, you know, witty becomes hilarious. That is probably why Dan Aykroyd's one scene works. Because he basically was the best of a bad situation at that point. Unfortunately, then the humor just bottoms out right after that. It's like, we have his one shining moment, his one little cameo, then everything just bottoms out and it goes to hell. Well, actually, we were kind of in hell within the first couple of minutes. The story here is just piss poor at best, because it has a whole lot of Michael Moore's, like, trademark things. Canada seems to be an almost perfect country, and how every single human being in Canada is ultra polite until you diss their beer. You know, and how it's so awesome because they have free healthcare. You know, and all of this is made like right up front, and the U.S. is just a bunch of money-grubbing, jingoistic jerk-offs who will do anything to go to war, even if it means fabricating a fake Cold War in order to get more jobs in fucking military plants. It's like, come on, man. That, honestly, is just... now, mind you, you could have taken that story and you could have made it work. However, Michael Moore doesn't know how to make anything work. Michael Moore is not even able to take fact and make it into an interesting documentary. He always has to use, you know, like, he always has to use, like, quote mining and selective editing in order to pass off his, you know, fictional version of the truth as fact in his fucking documentaries. Why the fuck would I even expect him to know how to write fiction and make it work? Anyway, the movie, guys, it had strong potential going in. It did. It had an awesome premise, and it was kneecapped by shitty writing. You could have gotten almost any other comedy writer on the planet to write this thing, and it would probably have worked. It would probably have been a hell of a lot, you know, it would probably have actually been funny. It would probably have been a hell of a lot better. This movie is a painful chore to get through. And mind you guys, all of it is because of the acting. Because I'm going to tell you right now, as terrible as this acting is, I mean, as terrible as the writing is, as As terrible as the writing is, as forced and as bullshit as the writing is, the acting's great. The acting is fantastic. Every single cast member is turning in the best performance they can possibly give with this horrible writing. So we have John Candy turning in a stellar showing. We have Stephen Wright in his one little cameo, which also is kind of funny now that I sort of think about it, but it's not, you know, but it isn't fucking ha-ha funny, similar honestly to Stephen Wright's stand-up. It's funny, but it's not fucking ha-ha funny. It's just, you know, it's just sort of like a giggle funny. You know, everybody is turning in an awesome showing. Rip Torn is turning in is fucking turning in an awesome showing, and Kevin Pollak and Alan Alda. Everybody's turning in awesome performances. It's just a fucking shame that the writing was so bad that they couldn't do anything, you know, fun with this. They basically, guys, were handed a script that fails in every conceivable way to be funny, and they're still trying to, and they are still trying to squeeze every drop of humor out of it. But you can't get blood from a fucking stone. You cannot squeeze funny from this goddamn movie. Oh, dear God. Okay, so the writing is probably the worst element of all of this. The acting shines as by far the best, element in all of this, because everybody still fucking tried, which is great. Camera work is okay. I do have to say that it would have been nice if all of the second unit shots weren't all fuzzy and grainy and all this other nasty shit, and, you know, actually try to make that match everything else. For those of you who don't know, second unit is normally the group that is sent out for film shoots, and they shoot establishing shots, like shots of buildings, shots of cities, you know, stuff honestly that you see prior to going in and seeing the actors. Every single second unit shot in this film is grainy as fuck, and it looks almost like it's all stock footage. Now, considering the fact that one of those is either John Candy, or someone's supposed to look like John Candy, running up the stairs of the fucking Canadian National, you know, Tower, it obviously is not stock footage. It's shit that they filmed for this. And also, speaking of that shot with Candy running up the stairs. Now, mind you, the camera is on the outside, and you're watching him as he's slowly going up. For whatever reason, I really don't know if this was just how the film was made or what, but there was this weird blue line right along the left side. Well, actually, this is my left, so it'd be either way. There was this big blue line on like one side of the screen. It was like right here, and it was really and I was sitting there and I was just watching the movie, and for some reason my eyes sort of gravitated to this big thick blue line that was right here. Why? Because they couldn't even develop the film right. It was really fucked up, guys. This fucking movie's got problems everywhere. The music here is pretty good, but then again, that is because it's a score from Elmer Bernstein, and Bernstein knew how to make awesome scores. His stuff is legendary. So yeah, he obviously, turned in something which was halfway decent. And the soundtrack here is okay. The soundtrack made with only like a couple of songs. The score is awesome. The soundtrack's okay. Lighting here is pretty good. Camera work, when it's not fucking this garbage from second fucking unit, is done pretty good. Okay, I mean, guys, really, ultimately, the big problem this movie has is its writing. The writing here sucks because Michael Moore wouldn't fucking know funny if it bit him on his ample fat ass. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, is there any way I can recommend Canadian Bacon? If you liked Michael Moore's quote-unquote documentaries, then yeah, you are going to love this, because it is the same bullshit messages he's attempted to cobble forth in most of those, except set in a fictional world, which honestly is a bit more fitting, considering, again, the quote mining and the selective editing. Yeah, yes, guys, I'm not a fan of Michael fucking Moore, but that does not excuse the fact that this movie is a tedious, boring piece of shit. And no, I cannot recommend it to anybody unless you happen to have a soft spot for God, what in the hell are some of those bullshit films? Roger and Me, or Fahrenheit fucking 9/11, or Bowling for Columbine. If you really think that those movies are top-notch, awesome things, then fuck, you guys are just going to adore this. However, if you, like me, are able to look at if you're able to look at Michael Moore, was I fucking call him Roger Moore before? I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of tired. Michael Moore. If you like me believe that Michael Moore is a scumbag for not even knowing how to make a fucking documentary honest, then no, you're not going to like this, because it's even more of his stupid preachy bullshit, except it's posing as a comedy, and it fails at being funny. Now, because this is Fan Appreciation Month, Canadian Bacon came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in is Medio. Now, Medio has sent in a lot of movies for this series, but now he doesn't want me to promote his YouTube channel. He wants me to promote his Google webpage, which is, I believe, at sites.google.com/Medio, was it Medio Archon? Guys, I'm going to put a link to it in this video's description. Please, guys, swing out there, check it out. I have no idea what is over there. I really haven't had a chance to go over there and look. And Medio, thank you. I was really curious about this movie. Granted, I had no idea who wrote it and who fucking directed it. Once more, before people claim I was going into this thing biased, I still was hoping for it to be fun. It just wasn't, because the writing was that bad. Now, once more, Medio, thank you. Please, guys, go over there and check out his site. You know, this thing almost fucking this thing kind of sort of reminded me of a good war comedy. I'm talking about Dr. Strangelove. I'm gonna go rewatch that, because god damn it, I need to fucking be fucking reminded how good war comedies are done. And then after that, I'm probably going to watch fucking War Games, because there was a little bit in here that also kind of reminded me of fucking War Games. So anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.